welcome back. Here we are with episode 8 of our adventures of porting XLnt GUI. If you feel like giving us a like and subscribe, then you know what the buttons are down the bottom. As for the GUI, I think we're going to change tact a little bit. What we might do is we might jump to the original source and do a bunch of replacement style things to that, since we've got a concept now of how these things are going to work. We'll keep 2 copies of the original, the modified version, and the original code. Let's load that up. Reopen, thank you, and that's the original code there. What I might do is I might add a add a new file to it. We'll call this the original code. Original XLnt GUI code. Hit close. Go here and just go select all. Select all. Copy that. And drag it over here. It does mean we'll have to be careful now when we use replace. For example, we've got to make sure we're not going to be replacing that main document. We'll do things like, since our wrapper handles things like, well, have a look for them. I know draw image is one that we've already wrapped, so we could do. And then while end is another one that we're already doing, so we might do a catch of that one there as well. We might not do a replace, we might just do a search update like that. And my only reason for that is that sometimes you can catch things inside other things where you don't want them. There's a lot of draw images, isn't there? Probably a lot more than what I was anticipating. So this is going to be the order of this session. It's going to be try and modify this code up front and then drop in some gadget code and try and start piecing this thing together. Draw image, and we're back to the start. Good. I might put a note at the top of this code. This code has some BB wrapper replacements. Just in case I somehow forget that. I probably won't, but you never know. You just never know these things. Alright, what's some other ones that we wrapped in our main library? Our blitz wrapper is back here, so we'll go have a look at them. Load font was one of them, so we'll do a load font. We'll replace milliseconds with timer. Back to here. I don't think there'll be too many load fonts actually. Didn't sound like a function that would be used that frequently in this code base. Load font. Got one usage of it. That was swapped to BB load font. And just one, so that's good. Another one though was milliseconds, wasn't it? So I'll go search, find milliseconds. Now this one's a function with a very distinct pattern, so we can actually do a bit of a BB milliseconds. Got that straight across the timer. Replace all. Are we brave enough? Yeah, we're brave. So that was pretty good. There was not that many in there, so quick save. Thought there'd be lots of those, but there's not. Wait timer. There's a while end statement there. This one we better be careful doing that because wend might pop up in other words. What I mean is that the word, you might have a variable called, s, swend or something like that, and the search replace would find this keyword inside another word. How annoying would that be? Pretty annoying, I would say. It was wend, wasn't it? Forward thanks. And end while. Some of these wait mouse things, I did actually change those into a function, but I kind of want to get away with changing the least amount of code possible, if that makes any sense to people. Then I'm more sure that we're not corrupting the logic and behavior of the whole thing. You don't know, you don't know these things. These are just waiting till the mouse is not pressed. So I just had a function that does the same thing. There's a lot of them. Maybe we should have just done a global replace. Felt good about ourselves. Let's comment it out, but still make that change. There's one there too, colour. All right. Wow. So we replaced. I'll make notes of those. Replaced wend. Sorry, wend with end while. Replaced load font, BB load font. Did the same for draw image, didn't we? Draw image, BB draw image. That doesn't mean that work, just means that we're going to have, in our wrapper library, we'll have these functions that do the equivalent of what Blitz was doing. Color was one, wasn't it? Let's have a look for that. Was it color or was it color? CLS color. Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? So CLS used this CLS color. Didn't know that? Okay. So perhaps we should wrap all of these CLSs with this and then use this CLS color. Or does that just do black by default? I have no idea. I'm glad I searched for that. So we'll go same thing there. So we'll just say we CLS color. CLS color is CLS color. Spelling it with an O or a U? No, with an O. And we'll wrap CLS as well. BB CLS. That's actually something I wasn't aware of that. I just thought you could just put the color after the CLS statement. So no. Right, so it was CLS color. We want to find here BB, and this will be BB CLS. PVCLS color. Oh wow, it's only you use the sum total of twice, so it's not really worth doing actually. So CLS must be, oh geez, CLS color. Oh no, it pops up more than there, so that's good. Back buffer CLS. BVCLS. There's another one there, create image, wasn't there? So it must be black by default, and then for that special currents, they must have been changing the color to do something else. Yeah, I'll leave that there for a second. And I'll worry when I pull that across. I'll worry about what this thing's doing. So load image pretty much is doing its own thing, but I know I did wrap load image to make it try and emulate this thing better. So we'll go with load image with BB load image. Thank you. Not very exciting to look at, is it? Sorry about that, but the tactic here is to try and get more of this working in one hit, and it kind of means focusing then on the structure of the rest of it, the actual structure, so the type access stuff. Alright, so we've got load image, good. The other one was so I'll have load image, draw image, and it was create image, wasn't it? Create image, tool replacement with this. Let's find it. So it kind of means that when I drag the functions across, I'm not looking so much at what functions are in the block of code that are blitz commands. I'm more interested in just converting this straight logic across. So any type structure stuff or anything like that. Create. And it should just help us reduce that sort of that constant tedious going, you know, back and forth about what's a function, what's not a function, where is this thing. So we do have a lot of these ones. A lot more than I thought there was going to be. Probably could have done this up front and then just shown you the results, but if you're a blitz person and you need to, if your background is in BlitzBASIC and not in PlayBASIC, this is an approach you can use to maybe not be comfortable with the way PB works, but certainly you can move some old code across and without too much trouble. I did say without too much trouble. It's on their copy image as well. Wow, there's a lot of these. I didn't think there were going to be that many. BB create. So they're global sprites, global image handles. Right, we finally made it all the way through. So that's a lot more than I was anticipating. What was another one? There was resize image. That was definitely one we saw. Resize image. Just call it the same thing. Find resize image. That one's not a known PB command, so we don't. Look at that. There are more of these than. That's good. So we are getting through some hidden. These are all inside the gadgets. Who knows what that's doing? Alright, so there's a few of those in there, isn't there? Resizing. Cool. Alright. What were some other ones that I've already wrapped? One mouse button, mouse down is key state. These have been wrapped to keep the commands the same as what they were in Blitz. So you don't even have to modify those bits of code. They pop up and they'll just compile as is. Alright, copy image was another one. Image height was another one. And draw block, tile block, color. Let's do copy image. Feel good about ourselves. Resize image. Copy image. Search for him. Oh, I didn't think this would be that common, but this might actually be very common. Copy image, BB copy image. So it's cloning some of the, okay, so it makes a bunch of these skin elements, like images that are to do with probably the gadgets and the windows or that kind of stuff. Oh no, there's more there. Just when you think there's not going to be. Let's say for this one we'll do a replace. We'll do a copy image bracket. Just insert the BB at the front. BB copy image, put the bracket on the end of that, replace all, thanks. Gee, it's a lot, isn't it? So we could probably do a wrapper of the mouse state. Just poll the mouse position up front, gets coordinates, the scroll wheel, the button state, you know. Compare it to previous frames so we can check whether the button's been held or whatever. The assumption is that if the button's still down from last frame, it's still being held, that kind of stuff. And then we can just have those as variables. And a lot of those function calls inside everything that is in, it's calling a mouse function, could be replaced with just the variables. As you know, that will help us reduce logic errors when things are being dragged and clicked and moved. Because you can move the mouse very quickly. If you've got a fast mouse, it can be moving while it's being read and being read the next frame. So in PB, it's asking the system all the time where the mouse is. It might have moved since the last time you called the function. Crazy, I know. Image height, draw block. There's a color function. We don't really need to do that. String height, plot, rect. right pixel fast, mask image, that's definitely a thing. Grab image. Free image. I might actually, yeah, I might preface those with the BB stuff actually. So we had free, we had mask image, and so I'll put free. Got a free image. I'm going to do as a mask image. This is going to be. I don't think they'll be used that frequently, but we will soon find out. All right, so free image. Let's have a look. Actually, it probably is freeing a lot of resources as it goes through, isn't it? So I could leave that there because free image is not actually a PB command, but I want to have a BlitzBASIC wrapper of general commands that you can kind of take Blitz code from in the future and drop it across and insert the BB underscore in front of the command names and kind of get stuff working. You know, to a degree. I guess the nice thing about having a wrapper is you can do some sort of checking inside the function to see if stuff is existing. I mean, one of the most common sort of errors that you find in old code is that there's logic pathways that just don't make sense. Yeah, so it's doing something and you discover, oh well, I can get through here and then delete something that you shouldn't be able to delete. But that's not really what you want. Wow, we have lots of those. I was not expecting that. What the hell is that doing? If temp greater than this, it's terrifying. The amount of stuff that's going on in this library. I should have expected that, really. It's more an off chance. Let's just try and port it and see how we go. And I've been confronted with a bunch of changes that I wasn't expecting. Well, I think not changes, but just differences in the way things work. So you can see why people would have trouble moving between the two. Their mindset is very different. You know, if you're not used to the idea of using an array all the time, then you'd be like, what the hell? What's going on, you know? Oh, I just missed one, I think. Because the majority of code that I've seen from Blitz has, you know, particularly game examples, is built around lists. So you need a way of emulating what these list functions do and how they're set up, and as I said before, I've written code that does that. But I was just surprised by the way. I'm not sure if all versions of Blitz work like this, but they seem to work where the links are with a global collection of these things and you kind of step through them and stuff. I just wasn't expecting it. I thought I could just have a list and that's my private list of stuff, and then up to me to keep this thing okay, keep it all. But when I made a pair of lists, they just seem to have the same data in them, which freaked me out a bit. And it just made me think, well, how am I going to convert this? Pointer. Gee, I wasn't expecting that many occurrences of that. That's not. Must be making it temp. Yeah. Just check we got. If we're going to do it, we might as well do a decent job of it up front to save ourselves time when we're moving the functions across. Ideally, I want to move bigger blobs of code and then work my way through and do replacements of the rest of it. As in the type control code, free image. Yeah, that's one. We missed that one. Free image, free image. Cool. Viewport, get rect. Sorry, get color. We're definitely going to need versions of those. Rect is the PB function, but I know it's wrapped in here. The viewport's changed. Draw image. Wow. More mouse control stuff we don't need or shouldn't need. One before was color, wasn't it? Alright, oh sorry, we didn't do mask image, we only did free image. So let's do mask. Oh, maybe we did. No, we just did that one. BB mask image. Search. Which is the what is color red, color green, color blue? Are they GUI functions or blitz functions? And if they are, where are they getting that from? That's a good question. Don't know. Would be my simple answer. Right, so I think mask image is done. But this color red, what the hell is that? So I wonder if that grabs the red component from the current color, current ink color. Because I don't think that's a function in the library. Just do a bit of a check, see if it is. See if it is. Don't think it is it? No, it's. Try that again. Color red. Color red. Color red. Color red. Okay. Now, we call it ink in PlayBASIC. I think they just call it color. I'm sure that's got a conversion of that over here somewhere. I'm sure I've seen that function before. Rect, string, color. So yeah, BB color red. Now I'm going to just go on a limb here and go, that's going to go. So color equals RGB R from get ink from the current ink color. What do you reckon? So this is going to grab the current ink color and then grab the R component from it. So now I've got green. What do we got? Blue, and color blue. So we've added those to our little conversion space. Go back to here, and we'll just do replacement to those functions. Where's this with BB this? Green, blue, and green. Search, replace. Every time I do this stuff, I'm always going, oh geez, I wish I had a tool to do this thing for me, to run through and do a bunch of this preliminary conversion stuff. Wouldn't that be neat? And it's a neat idea, and if you do a lot of translation, it's definitely worth your time to write a tool for yourself to convert, even to do rough conversions between one source dialect of another. You know, so if you might have a wrapper that wraps, in this case, BlitzBASIC very well, some of BlitzBASIC, just whatever's using this library here. Or we might do another one for you know, DarkBASIC or DarkBASIC Professional or AGK, you know, whatever you fancy, you know. And to accelerate the translation of code between one and the other, you might have to write yourself a little program that simply loads the source code in and does a bunch of brute force replacements on it. You know, not pretty, but can speed up your life dramatically. This is what we're doing here. So color green, sorry, still replace to that thing. Alright, I don't want to get this wrong. Green. Color green, replace all, do all of them. Cool. Color blue is the last one. Replace. Replace all. Go for it. Not as many of those. Is that correct or not? Color red. Find color blue. Now we probably should do color as well, actually, shouldn't we? Yeah. Even though I've already done this in the other port, I've called this, I've allowed it to be called just color. So this will stop the code from in here from working, but it'll help us be more consistent across the whole thing. So anytime we see something with the prefix of BB underscore, it's a function that was a BlitzBASIC function. So even if we have functions that are the same name, they won't collide with functions in PlayBASIC. Internal logical stuff can cause problems, you know, like what string functions Blitz has. I don't really know off the top of my head. We have all the general basic stuff like the left strings and right strings and mids and all that stuff you see in every version of BASIC, but there's always variance between languages. Sometimes they're subtle, sometimes they're quite large. Let's go do it. Find color effects. No, not UR. I think it's got space. Still less color? No. So that would have been a situation where if I had done a color replacement, it would have replaced that. We don't want that. BB color, BB rect, color. Get color, so you don't want that. That's nice. That's actually nice there. Means we can do some optimizations for these functions when we translate. We can do our direct translation here rather than calling a wrapped function. There's going to be a lot of this, isn't there? Yeah, it's going to be a lot of it. That's cool. BB, go. So it's not exactly what you thought you'd be watching today, is it? I just want to get more of this converted across, and then we can drop it across easier. And I was actually planning on doing mostly the window control stuff and the gadget control stuff. I thought I could find functions that accept gadgets passed in. I can do at least stuff like the declaration of it. Sorry, BB color. This is where actually, writing a Alexa would be a great idea for this very purpose. The Amos thing I did before, and the other ones I've done in the past, I've generally had rules about where the replacement occurs. So if I found a word, I've gone back and looked at the previous letter to check it if it's not alphanumeric. In other words, is it part of another word? If it is, don't skip it. It's a bit ugly, but gets the job done. And it's just a lot less work than writing a full Alexa. But if you do write Alexa, it saves. There's no real things can't hide that way. Another problem is if you do a replacement and the code runs through, if it will find words inside string literals. Yeah, so you can get things broken like that, and you've got to be careful all the time. So some of these rect colors here, they don't really need to do that. We've got PB rect command has a color version, so you can give it the color at the end of this. Just wanted to keep that in line with that. What's get color doing, I reckon? It's that point. Must be. There's a bunch of them. Get color. Jeez. Somehow we've put like almost an hour into doing this. Sorry about that. I wasn't expecting it to take this long. And listening to me waffle on about nothing is not what you were signing up for. If you are a Blitz coder and you have some ideas about how that would help out translating the stuff across, or you want to use the wrapper and improve the wrapper, then feel free. Go for it. tend to think it's kind of crazy that old languages disappear and old code bases just vanish. People's work disappears and they can't do anything with it. And at least if you translate it to another language, you've got two possible ways for this to operate. Oh wow, that was exciting. That wasn't. How many functions have we done? A fair few. What's some more that we've already done before? They'll modify this other code. Free image, mask image. They should be updated. Grab images one. There you go. Grab image, copy image, which I think is just how you make an image from an existing section of an image. That makes any sense. Let's find this thing. Grab image, go for it. Oh, there we go. When we set this thing up, when it's being set up, it's going to have to do a lot of grab images. Still not 100% about sure about what those buffer commands are doing, but you know. Yeah, let's not worry about it. I think in retrospect there, it makes sense to actually have a grab image. I know in PB, when you grab an image from a surface, it inherits the mask color. So once it's set on the first buffer, I guess if you draw it to the screen though, I guess. There's probably old versions of PB that don't work like that, you know. So what normally happens is you say something and then go, oh, mine doesn't work. Mine doesn't do that. Well, it does now. I mean, changes over time can be very subtle, but can actually really improve the feel of something over time. For our preliminary pass, we might leave that there, and we'll just jump across into our functions here. Just jump across to the PB port code, and we'll do a compile, and we'll use compiler to catch it each time we've got a broken bit. Mask image. Just change those to 9, so we're going to update them. Grab, mask. We only have a section of this stuff poured across, so free image, BB free image, thank you. Nice. I probably should have done this up front. I was concerned about damaging the code before I even looked at it, which is a real thing. BB color. When I use compile to do that, it's using the Alexa, so actually we're hitting a function name that doesn't exist. So it's a very accurate way of picking up what the next thing is. Slightly slower than doing like a search and replace, but you know, so we can just find them in order as it uses stuff. Color function there. How far are we getting? Let's draw a block there. Do we change that or not? One downside of creating wrappers like this is that you are actually adding some extra weight on top of your application. Generally speaking, PB is pretty good at that. Generally, you know, it is compiled to bytecode and run on top of a virtual machine, so you don't want to have too much extra bloat in what you're doing. Great. So we're working as well as what we did before, which is not saying much. But we are back to that same. Let's try minimize, maximize, works again. Whatever that button there does. That's the push to back button. Yeah. When you do a push to back, stuff doesn't work. How dare it not work? How dare that not work? Blitz wrapper, thank you. So list controls, we're not really using those at the moment. Graphics width, I don't think we use much of that in here, but for completeness we'll make those BB and preface with those. Graphics buffer, we've got to do those as well. BB. Front buffer, back buffer. See how frequently they come up. I think they just use the once in the whole program, which is probably good. Good. I could probably make that just one function, couldn't I? Set front buffer as one thing. Intentionally trying to catch. At the moment we've got two function calls for no real reason. Just saying. Don't get ahead of yourself, just keep doing what you're doing. One of the biggest problems in writing software is you often think, oh, maybe I should add this other thing to this, or implement something else, or change it somehow. And before you know it, your to-do list is huge, and all of the responsibilities you have in your code, you can't really maintain them or match them. Well, we do actually have that one there, so that's good. Yes. It's not just once. I thought that would be just once. I just change both those, so that would be the least productive bit of porting we've done so far. It does make you want to make a little function that loads in the source code and just absolutely butchers it. I did think about doing a blitz converter a while ago. Sort of, actually more than thought about it. Started a bit of work on it. Right. So those ones there, we've got graphics buffer, front buffer, and back buffer. So I'll do replacements of those. So we're going to replace front buffer, back buffer with that. And let's just do it. Just do a complete replacement of it. Place all, go for it. The temptation is to make that replacement there, but I want to use search replace to do that properly. If I go changing it myself, it'll insert bb underscore bb underscore bb into it, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then try it yourself and see what happens. You probably won't like the response. Place all. Yeah, there's a lot of those throughout the original code base anyway. So we've done a bunch of command replacements. We might just do a quick test about replaced win.window. I'll look at the functions with this pattern. If you're passing in this in particular, and we want to output this win as window pointer. So we're going to save ourselves a little bit of, if any of those exist. They may not. We might actually have to go and look for these things on a closer level. So if we go we want to look for this win.window. Okay, search for it. Find. Status. Now I think that's popping up frequently, with enough frequency to make it worth doing a replacement there. So I didn't replace those, by the way. So I'm going to go win.window, close bracket, so it's a function call. We're assuming it's a function header, actually. Win as window pointer here. Replace all, thanks. Are we brave enough? Yeah, let's do it. The same would go for gadgets. Functions that accept gadgets as parameters, that'd be handy. Just trying to find one. No, there's lots of stuff on that, isn't there? Wow. Frames and stuff. That's a file requester number. No wonder it doesn't look simple. GUI file type. It's GUI file. No, don't start doing those. Sort files. Repeat until the stuff here is done. Now, those patterns there, win.window, are still inside the code, but they're something else. They're other locations. Let's have a search for them. So we'll find, there'll be internal declarations. So there's don't want to replace that, don't want to replace that. With our translation of this, we use an array, and when we link the array cells to each other to emulate the linked list behavior of what Blitz does. Just thinking, maybe I can actually have a wrapped function called new window that does the behavior and just returns a pointer back to window here. So if that showed up more than once, there's another pattern there. Look at that. Yeah, we'll tackle that one there first. Actually, I've got a comma at the end there. So these are functions that are expecting a window passed to them. We'll make a note of what we did, just in case. So we're going to replace this pattern as, I'll put a space there, as window pointer, comma. So any function that has that header, we should catch those. Are we nervous? No, we're not nervous. Let's just do it. So we want win.window pointer. Then we want a comma at the end of that. We want this last bracket to be replaced with a comma. Replace all. Yeah, let's do it. Just catches a bunch more of these cases that we hope are unique, that we're otherwise having to do. So that's good. Passing in win is this thing here. It's all good. We probably could catch a great deal of these particular patterns globally. Now that I'm more comfortable with how Blitz is operating. But I might do those as we do the replacements as we move across. But the declarations, I want to catch those up front. This for each loop here. Sorry, there's another one too, .gadget. So these have to be updated as well. Gadgets have to be updated in these declaration spaces up here. So look for this pattern. It's going to end up gad.gadget.pointer, sorry, as pointer. We'll look for gad.gadget first of all. Use the same one as we did with Windows. Yeah, I've got some of that stuff. And a lot of them. That's good. Means that we're not going to means we are going to save ourselves some time, and it is worth doing. So here again, a reminder about what we did. Replaced this thing as, this time it's going to be gad. I'll do it uppercase. Gad as gadget pointer with a bracket on the end. Where are we? Replace. This might have to do for today actually. Gad, got gadget. Oh geez, did I spell it right? Capitalization doesn't matter. Gad as gadget pointer, gad, right, replace all. It just means our declarations will be cleaned up for us by the time we even drag the code across. We'll try and tackle the other one there too. So we'll do gadget with the opening bracket, and then we'll do a comma at the end there. So we just search for that. The reason I'm happy with doing the pattern of having brackets around things is they can only really occur, as far as I'm aware, in a function declaration. That's just within this bit of code. So search for it. Should be pretty prevalent, and it is function declarations, and it's going to save us a bunch of time. So let's press ahead and do it. Grab that thing. Oh, don't do that, you silly thing. Slice, comma thing here with a comma gated replace. Let's go. All of them. Thinking about it. Cool. That is good. I like that. I don't know what any of those functions they do. I have not a clue. I haven't looked at much of the code. That's the reason why for that. This is the return type here. I would probably need a bit of code to run through and do the function headers. So you could do your search replace thing, as I was saying before. If you treated this as a big blob of text, you just looked for a function. The trick I normally use actually is the function is going to be hard up against the last end of line character. So you'll have character 10, character 13 at the end of the line. So you can use that as a search, as part of your search, which means that you'll be getting there's two invisible characters at the end of a line, which you can't normally see, of course. But if you just search for function and those characters with a space after it or a tab, that gets you to here. Then you search across and you look for a bracket, and that gives you these characters here. Then you go, well, is there any period characters in there or dot characters? And that's how you would grab that from it. Pull it out, reinsert it, and just keep searching. But you would use that as the return here. So you wouldn't get a nice clean result, but you put this on the end of your end function as just preface it with as whatever the type name is, and a pointer or something. And that would, again, a small bit of code could do a lot of the brute force rubbishy work up front. For small code bases, it's not really warranted, but for big things like this, that probably is the way to go to do large ports. All right, I think we'll leave this here, and we'll try and tackle some more of this tonight, because we are actually probably an hour and 20 minutes where it's going to be, which is too long for an episode. They take ages to edit these things down. But I want this to be pretty much live, the whole thing. Maybe at the end we might shorten up the episodes a bit, and I might do a session and then show you the results rather than because we're going to be doing a lot of the same stuff over and over again from here on in, I would think. I do want to convert these globals to a type structure and have them all just at the top of the program. And primarily get it to work with explicit mode enabled, which means making sure all the variables are declared up front. So I have noticed places where there's variables that are not used, and other places where I think there might be typos in the code. I'm not sure. We all make mistakes. I mean, everything I've ever written is full of bugs. So, all right, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you after. Just check that our one's still working. Well, by working I mean hasn't blown up. It's pretty good. So if if I use the back button, which is the button next to here, sorry, I keep using the wrong button. Now, I think this is the push to back button here. Once that's been pushed to back, all bets are off with selection. So pretty weird, pretty weird. I might find myself rewriting that selection code to something I'm more comfortable with. I was thinking about having, if I can get the gadgets to work, and they should work if we can get the windows to work. I think actually some of that stuff will be easier than what you might be thinking. Just as long as we have our logic in place and all of the data types, so the types match up, it should work fine. I did say should, didn't say it will. Should work fine, you know. Anyway, till next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you then. Bye.